Let's cut to the chase. If you've ever said, I'm not paying child support because the kid's mum will spend it on herself, or why should I pay child support when she already gets child benefit, then this video is for you. I would say if you're a man and you've ever said this, but I feel like that sentence just simply doesn't work. Let me correct it. Ooh, that's better. If you're a narcissistic clown that's ever said one of those two things, then this video is aimed at you. Think of me like Eminem. I'm going for the jugular. When I say Eminem, I mean more of a handicapped mumble rapper, like Machine Gun Kelly. On a more serious note, this video will be very informative to anyone paying child maintenance, anyone receiving child maintenance, and children who have separated parents. This will teach you exactly why mummy sometimes can't buy you exactly what you want. Seriously, once you've watched to the end, if you have a child who has been affected by the hardship caused by the dad, in most cases, not paying for their child, play it back again and let them watch. In this video I'm going to break down the actual cost of a child. I'm going to use my 11-year-old stepdaughter as a guide, so obviously I'm not going to include things like nappies or dummies. This list is going to be so huge I'm going to run through it as quickly as possible. What's important to note here is although I'm basing it on my daughter, I'm also going to list the prices as cheaply as possible to give a fair end reading of how much a child actually costs per month. So when I list things like a pack of Asda underwear for £6, I just want to make this very clear. This is not what I buy for her. In case any of her friends are watching this, we do not buy cheap. You all know how cruel kids can be sometimes. The last thing I want is for her to get bullied over my videos. She's a typical 11-year-old girl who loves anything designer, whether it be Calvin Klein underwear or River Island leggings. But this video is about what's the minimum amount you could justify that it costs for a child. You're also going to see a box in the top left corner, right here. As I list the essential items and prices, I'm going to put the total in that box. Even if I say an item costs £50 per year or £5 per week, I'll have worked everything out neatly into a monthly total and shown in the box mentioned. One final thing. The rule for this list is simple. If I incur an expense solely because of this child, then it goes on the list. Happy? Let's get started. Like I said, there's a lot on this list, so let's speed it up a little. School uniform, quick fire round. Remember, this doesn't take into account outgrowing clothes. 2 pairs of trousers, £28 a year. 2 pairs of polo shirts, £16 a year. 2 school jumpers for winter, £28 a year. 2 skirts for summer, £20 per year. 2 pairs of school shoes. Good luck trying to get away with 1 pair per year. That's going to be about £70 per year. School bag, let's call it £10. I know that's really pushing it so cheap. Again, this is all about the very cheapest it costs for the sake of child maintenance payments. So there's going to be zero rebuttal. 2 water bottles, £10. Stationery like pens, calculators, rulers, protractors, etc. £25 a year. Let's not forget PE. For some reason, my daughter's school doesn't have PE on week 1, but has it 3 times on week 2. So you're going to need 2 sets of PE kits. That's 2 PE tops, that's £23 yearly. 2 skirts for summer, £20 yearly. 2 sports leggings for winter, that's £28.50. The reason the price is so specific is because I've sat down with my wife and gone through the cheapest websites that sell our children's school uniforms and outfits. A standard black pair of Adidas trainers for PE, we'll call that £35 yearly. Lunch money, minimum £3 daily. Underwear, you could get away with 2 packs of 10 knickers, right, for £12 again. Not my daughter. Bras, let's not forget the hormones and changes kids go through, so they need plenty of clean clothes. 4 bras for the week should be barely enough, and that'll be about £30 per year. Socks, we can have 7 packs of 2, that's about £9 a year. Swimming costume, we'll need 2 of them, that's £20 a year. 2 swimming hats, that'll be a nice little £5. Swimming goggles, you could get away with 1 decent pair for the year, so we'll call it £7. Now school trips. This one's subject to their age and school. I know that 100% of you with children will agree that if I say a year's worth of school trips only cost £50, I'm massively underestimating. So let's go with £50 per year for the sake of integrity. School donations. You could argue that school donations are needed. You can simply say no, but the school is sly. They send out letters every week asking for a small monetary donation, and they wait until all the children are in class and sat at their desks before going desk to desk collecting donations. Do you want your kid to be the only child who has to announce out loud in front of the class and their impressionable friends, "My mum said no because we don't have the money"? No? In that case, we'll put down the standard donation of £1 per week to save the child from being bullied. Now let's talk about out of school clothes and shoes. Kids need to have clothes they wear on the weekends and after school. A pair of jeans can cost you about £25, and don't forget they need appropriate clothes and appropriate shoes for both summer and winter alike. I'm going to massively underestimate again. We'll call it £400 a year. If you're buying second-hand, charity shops and a few bits from Primark, you should just be able to squeeze it out for £400. Toiletries, such as deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste and a brush, hair products, and a brush, and so much more is going to cost you at least £150 a year. Sanitary products and razors. I'm not going to go into details on this, we'll call it £30 a year. Again, massively underestimating. There's always that one kid in school whose parents refuse to comb their hair or use a shower in general. You can literally taste what they smell like. So expect to spend some cash on some knit lotion. And that stuff is as expensive as Zoella's advent calendar. You're welcome, Jack. That'll set you back £12 a bottle, but have at least 2 of them per year, so that's £24 yearly. Makeup. 11-year-old girls will do what 11-year-old girls do. They're transitioning into young women. Now obviously we're not going to say £1,000 a year is acceptable, but a tiny bit of foundational mascara here or there is absolutely expected. So we'll call it £20 a year for if they go to a party on the weekend or they want to do a TikTok with a little bit of makeup. That's absolutely expected. Phone contracts. Whoa! Controversial. Paying for a phone contract isn't a necessity. What percentage of kids in secondary school don't have a phone? I bet you it's less than 5%. Then it makes the list. I'll compromise though. Not everyone has the iPhone 11, so let's meet in the middle. A phone handed down by a kid's parent who upgraded and either has a pay-as-you-go SIM card or SIM card contract. That's £15 a month. That is little to pay for knowing your child can reach you immediately if they ever get into trouble or feel in danger when they're out playing with their friends up the fields, for example. Home entertainment, let's assume that their Xbox, Nintendo Switch and other gadgets are Christmas presents. How often do your kids hound you for V-Bucks, Robux or Microsoft points for Minecraft or Fortnite? It feels like every 5 minutes, doesn't it? So let's assume only once a month you allow it. The cheapest V-Bucks is $7.99 per month. It makes the list. Rewards. We have a parenting system at home where if our child has a month full of positive feedback with 0 negative feedback from school and their grades are good, they get a reward of £5 every month. Pocket money. Like it or not, kids have pocket money. They get to learn about budgeting and the real value of cash. In my opinion, I couldn't stand letting my 11-year-old out with her friends without her having money. They always hang around near a shop and always get a drink whilst being out doing TikToks or whatever. You can argue they don't need pocket money, but I remember being the kid who always had to have his friends buy him a drink after playing football because I was never given pocket money often. We give our girls £5 a week at the start of the week. If they spend it on the first day, that's fine. They learn not to do it because it feels bad, and they learn to budget, which is more than they learn in school. Let's talk food, one of my favourite subjects. We already listed school time lunch. They have to eat breakfast and tea at home every day, at least 3 basic meals every weekend and throughout the holidays. £3 a week for cereal in the mornings is acceptable. Lunch on the weekends, £5 weekly. Evening meals, because they have to have that for 7 days a week, £17.50 a week. Friends' birthdays. Whenever your child goes to a kid from a school's birthday party, you usually give a card with £10 in it, don't you? How often are these bloody kid parties? Every month at least? I thought so. £120 per year minimum. Your child or my child's birthday. To host a birthday party for your child, you can't expect to invite your child's friends and expect them to pay for their own admission. We will go with £200 yearly, but that's if you're only inviting 3 friends to a normal trampoline park at least. The next part was really fun to work out. We sat down and looked at our household bills and worked out what percentage of the bill we would use on our 11-year-old daughter. Once we thought we were close enough, we halved the amount to make sure that 100% we are below what she actually costs. Washing and drying clothes, that's 50p per load per day. Electricity, £5.40 per month. That is so cheap considering every evening she sat on her bed with the lights on, playing Fortnite on the Xbox, FaceTiming her mates on her phone while it's charging, and using her laptop to play music. And of course, showering and all that, that is not expensive at all considering. Gas. She absolutely produces more gas than she uses. It's only £1 a month. Water. It's £5 a month. These kids do grow up so quickly, so what about decorating bedrooms? She grows up so quickly, like all girls do. Last year she loved Harry Potter and loved her themed room. This year she was embarrassed to let her friends come over because she now sees it as completely childish. So now we've decorated it to a nice clean modern and simplistic white and pink to make it a typical really girly teenager's room. But let's say that's only £100 per year. What about membership payments? Football team membership is £10 yearly and weekly subs adds up to £96 a year. If children want to play for their local football team or do training, they need kit, don't they? They need boots, shorts, tops, the lot. £50 easily per year if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, they pick hockey or gymnastics, or dance even. Now how are your kids going to get to football training, the opticians, or school even? You need to drive them there, don't you? Let's be stingy and say it only costs you £10 a week in fuel to do all of these journeys. I want to take a second here to mention this. You may think my list is expensive, but I'm using my 11-year-old as an example. You are completely wrong. I don't have to pay for baby items such as nappies, milk formula, and a small fortune to go with it. So I'm actually using a relatively cheap child in the grand scheme of things. Now what about these single mums that decide it's time to make a better life for themselves and their children by finding work? They have to pay childcare, don't they? Because let's be honest, you can't look after yourself, never mind a child full time. And by the way, I'm speaking to the little boys up there who would rather sit in the pub every Friday afternoon shouting, lads, 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 let's go fucking mental, than using their beer money to pay for their child's school shoes. So how much does a childminder cost? They start, let me repeat, they start at £4.50 per hour. So if you need a childminder full time because your kid is under 3 and not in school, that's £180 per week. Or £45 per week if you only need them for after school for an hour or two. But seeing as we're using my 11-year-old daughter for this list, I'm not including childcare. But I just wanted to make it very clear that the so-called free money for the mum doesn't even cover childcare. Never mind a bloody holiday to Lanzarote with your mates. And I do understand that there will be single dads out there pissed off that I'm tarring the men as the bad guys here. But I'm sorry, 99% of single parents fighting for child support payments are women who were left with a kid by a man. Let's not ignore these slap in the face facts, boys. Another one I haven't listed here is school holidays. 6 weeks in the summer costs a bloody fortune. Kids don't just sit in the living room not asking for a penny. You take them to places for kids like theme parks or cinemas or to similar costly events. But I felt like that was subjective, so I threw it into the miscellaneous pile, along with the following: Halloween costumes, school play costumes, Christmas outfits like jumpers and hats, wear and tear on cars from so much dropping off and training and events, harvest festivals, stupid homework assignments. Like this week, my daughter's had to build a car out of wood for some reason. You get the point. There's so much more that you need to fork out for that weekend dads or non-paying dads never see. The bare minimum one child costs, and let's not get this twisted, this would be a child with barely anything, a poor child for today's standards at least. That'll set you back at least £4,827.80 per year, or £402.31 per month. And let's not beat around the bush here. The reason you are paying child maintenance is because your kid most likely lives with their mother in the weekdays. Maybe you see the kids on the weekend, but who's paying for a childminder if you and the kid's mum both work 40 hours a week Monday to Friday? Childcare for someone with a kid in full-time school costs £213 a month and costs a full-time working mum with a child not in full-time school at least £10,080 per year minimum, or £840 per month. So now we know why there's so many single mums unable to work. They're not lazy at all. They've been left with a financial burden that you created by refusing to pay half the cost for half yours and half her child. I know that I've missed out a few things that should have made this list. Please do me a favour and drop a comment if you think anything I should have included, so I can update this and make a new video similar to this in future. If you're a dad who hates paying child support, then I hope this video has given you insight into why you pay for the child. If you're a single parent watching this who doesn't get child support, keep fighting. It takes two to tango, and you deserve every penny for that child to have as good of a life as any child deserves. If you do get child maintenance payments, then good on you. Don't feel guilty or scabby that you receive money from a person who should absolutely be paying for their child. They're the ones in the wrong. And one final ask I have for you guys, if you are surprised by this, please feel free to share this around to your friends, to your family. Let's get the word out that child maintenance isn't holiday payments for mum. It's to barely cover half or quarter of the costs for children. Remember, if you have a child under 3 and it costs £10,000 a year just for childcare costs, how can you justify paying £20 a week? I just don't get it. This video is not about opinion. This is about factual information. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Ghost. I'll see you all later.